With the Ravens heading up to Buffalo to take on the Bills this Sunday for their divisional round matchup, a lot of pregame talk has, understandably, been about Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. How will Lamar deal with the Bills' defense and the bitter cold? Will Henry put on another juggernaut performance like the last time he faced the Bills, and has been doing for the past month? And while these are, of course, extremely important questions pertaining to this matchup, there's a lot more to this game than just a battle between MVP quarterbacks and the Ravens' ground game versus the Bills' defense. There are a number of elements for this Ravens offense, defense, and special teams that will need to be on point in order for them to overcome their opponent in this crucial playoff game. Some of those elements are specific players, while others are more abstract in nature, centering around play calling, mentality, and discipline. Last week's game was the most important game of the Ravens season, until this game became the most important game of the Ravens season. And if the Ravens want to have another most important game of the Ravens season next week, they're going to have to be locked in and ensure that the critical aspects of the game that I'm going to address are taken care of. Let's get to it. Welcome in, everyone. This is Jordan with Ravens Flash Report, and today I want to go through what I believe will be some important scenarios and some key players that the national media and even some Ravens fans might not be considering in this important matchup against the Bills, but that I believe could play a crucial role in deciding the outcome. So go ahead and like the video if you enjoy, subscribe and turn notifications on if you're new, and put your thoughts down in the comment section below on whether or not you agree with my assessment on how important these players and concepts will be in this game. So the first area that we're going to be discussing is the pass-to-run ratio. We saw in the wildcard game against the Steelers last week that the Ravens ran the ball 49 times for 300 yards and dominated 3.5 quarters of that game. The weather reports for Buffalo indicate that we may see a similar game plan from Baltimore, especially if the Bills think they can handle the Ravens' heavy run package in their nickel or dime defense. However, if we go back and look at the Steelers game, one of the least talked about aspects was how impactful the passing game was for the Ravens in moving the chains, whether they were in a third down scenario or behind the sticks due to one of their 3 penalties. For example, after Alex Highsmith sacked Lamar for a 10-yard loss, the very next play on 2nd and 20, Tylan Wallace caught a pass and fought his way for 21 yards, giving the Ravens a new set of downs. 2 other examples would be Mark Andrews' slant over the middle of the field before halftime, which he took for 20 yards before going out of bounds to stop the clock. That was followed up immediately by Isaiah Likely and his already iconic stiff arm against Cameron Sutton. Like many of you, I believe that this game will be won or lost in the trenches, and that the team that can more effectively run the ball and control the clock will end up on top. But I think it's just as important that if either team is stopped with a 3rd and long or they're out of timeouts, turning to the pass game has to provide an equally effective option. Staying with the offense, the next aspect of this game that is being overlooked by everyone is the potential impact of Patrick Ricard. Of course, we all know what he has done as a blocker in the run game, but what I'm referring to is his usage as either a runner or pass catcher in Sunday's game. On the season, he has a total of 3 receptions, 22 yards, and 1 touchdown, which came against Denver. We've discussed the weather forecast and how well the Ravens have been moving the ball on the ground lately, but don't be too surprised if you see Ricard leak out into the flat near the goal line and catch a cheeky touchdown when the Bills are fully committed to stopping Henry or Lamar up the middle. Now, Ardarius Washington, or as I call him, Barbarius Washington, is a player that I had back before the season began, lined up to fill the 3rd safety role left vacant by Geno Stone's departure. And despite me hyping him up all through preseason, he had to go and make me look like the fool by outplaying and especially out-efforting Marcus Williams for the starting spot. Classic Barbarius, am I right? Anyway, we've seen since even before Week 11 when the switch was official that our guy Barbarius was a 5'8", 180-pound guided missile, and we are going to need him to have his biggest game of the season on Sunday. I discussed in my preview video earlier this week that the Bills, much like the Ravens, have a wide spread to their pass distribution, so the ball could literally go to anyone on any play. I'm looking for the secondary to make some plays in this game, and I don't think it's crazy for believing it might be hard to hold on to the ball in the low temperatures that are expected when a full-speed Barbarius comes across the middle of the field with violent intentions. Michael Pierce's name has been making the rounds after having 2 big plays 2 games in a row. the interception to seal the fate of the Browns in Week 18, and the first sack of the wildcard game against the Steelers. But in this game, I don't care if he has another pick or even a sack. I just want him, alongside Travis Jones and Broderick Washington, to make the middle of that defensive line as impassable for James Cook and Josh Allen as the bridge of Khazad-dûm was for the Balrog. I mentioned earlier that we need to win in the trenches and to dominate at the line of scrimmage, and with the late season push from several of our veteran defensive players, like Kyle Van Noy, who's had 4.5 sacks since the bye week, and the play of Michael Pierce, the ability to succeed in stopping the run and getting pressure up the middle has never been more needed. The final and potentially most important thing for the Ravens to do to win this game on Sunday is control the ball and the time of possession. Not counting the season finale loss to the Patriots, as Josh Allen wasn't playing, the Bills have had 3 other losses this season. You want to guess what one of the most noticeable links was between those 3 games? The Texans in Week 5, the Rams in Week 14, and of course the Ravens in Week 4 all held the ball for longer in the game than the Bills did. Now, it's not just that you're keeping Josh Allen off the field and limiting his ability to score by cutting down how many drives he has. It's also scoring and making the most out of the time of possession that you have. The Ravens are the best red zone scoring offense in the league, but the Bills are also second best, so it's not enough to just go back and forth with each team having long drives that end in touchdowns. It's about breaking the Bills' serve, score on offense, then force a punt or turnover on defense, then score again on offense. Just like the Ravens did to the Steelers last week, they have to not only force the Bills to beat them, but also beat the clock. I can't sit here and say that Patrick Ricard, Barbarius Washington, and Michael Pierce all need to make big plays for the Ravens to win, nor can I tell you that if the Ravens run the ball 60 times for 350 yards, they'll lose. But this is the playoffs, the season within a season, and the Ravens will not solely win on the arm and legs of Lamar or Henry. 11 guys take that field for every play, and the Ravens will need all of them for 60 minutes to win and keep their Super Bowl hopes alive. Like I said at the beginning, if you enjoyed this short breakdown of some key aspects I believe will be important in this game, feel free to leave it a like. If you're new, consider subscribing and hitting the bell to turn notifications on so you don't miss a video. Also, give me your thoughts down in the comment section below about either the players and aspects that I brought up here, or your own thoughts or hot takes. As always, guys, stay safe out there, and go Ravens.